Hi and welcome to the vlog. This is a perimenopause and HRT update. I am a bit over a year into my HRT journey, so in this vlog I'm going to share what kind of changes I've made throughout this year, what changes it has made to me, very important. I'm going to talk about testosterone, because that's something I've added in the last few months and it's a bit of a controversial one, so I really want to talk about it. Update how I'm getting on with the estrogen, obviously. Share what dose I am on, hopefully that might be helpful to somebody. And just a few bits and bobs that I have been up to that is perimenopause and menopause related since we last spoke. So if this is for you, if you're a menopause, perimenopause, HRT interested viewer, then come on in! Come in anyway. I waffle a lot, but I'm actually pretty funny, alright? It is August 2024 and I started HRT in June 2023 and I cannot believe it has been over a year already. Where has the time gone? That is insane. I am still not stopping the HRT. You're gonna have to pry it out of my dead hands. That is the stage I am at right now. Might not be the stage I'm at my entire life, but for now, this has been such a game changer for me. The HRT, no, let me backtrack. My perimenopause symptoms came with a lot of anxiety, a lot of irritability, that's putting it mildly, and a lot of brain fog and forgetfulness. And these are not things that go well with being a mum and being a special needs mum, okay? My children do not need to deal with me being too anxious to go food shopping. I cannot forget about Elin's medicines. That is not acceptable. It just cannot happen. And it's not good for anybody that I am screaming with incoherent rage because my severely disabled daughter has had the audacity to have a seizure. Right? These are things that are not okay. And therefore, HRT for me was the right option. I'm sure I could have meditated myself into a slightly better level of tranquility and stability, perhaps, but I needed help. I needed help fast. I needed efficient and long-term help, and stabilizing my estrogen levels and my testosterone levels have made such an enormous difference. It really has. Yes, I'm still a bit forgetful at times, but who isn't? I've always been. Okay? And I'm still clumsy ass, particularly the days before my period when apparently nothing stays in my hands. I've got no idea why. Clumsiness is my biggest PMS symptoms, but the more I speak to women about this, the more I find out that they have it too. And no one told us, okay? And yes, I do. There are things that irritate me, of course. I'm allowed to get pissed off when people are being idiots. But it's not uncontrollable anymore. I function. I feel like one of the best versions of me that I have been in a very, very, very long time. So yes, I've been on estrogen and progesterone for for almost exactly a year and 2 months. For the last 5 months, I have also been on testosterone. Hello, baby. This was the missing piece for me. This was the cherry on top of the cake. This is the gravy, okay? I did a vlog back in April after I had appeared on a podcast called the Dr. Louise Newson podcast about what it's like being a carer in perimenopause. And I then trialed testosterone after that through the Newson Health Clinic. So that's the menopause clinic that Dr. Louise Newson founded. And it was amazing. Like, it was just, having a chance to try it was fantastic. There was no way I was going to be able to keep paying for it privately though. I could not afford that. And so I needed to get testosterone prescribed on the NHS. And the NHS does not like prescribing testosterone. So the NHS guidelines actually say that they can prescribe testosterone provided you have severe psychosocial impact of low libido. Okay. So if your sex life has tanked, and it's really tanked, and it's causing a heck of a lot of trouble for you, then you can get testosterone, but not otherwise. And this makes me furious, and it makes me furious for so many reasons. One of those reasons are we are more than just sex. And if you did watch my episode on sex in perimenopause, you know, I'm going to repeat what I said in that vlog, but it's, you do not owe anybody sex. You as a woman, you are not there for somebody else's pleasure, and, you know, you're not a sex toy. Okay, you don't owe anybody sex. If you don't want to have sex, you don't have sex. But you deserve to enjoy sex for your own sake, for your own joy, for your own pleasure. Okay? But I get a little bit annoyed when it's all about libido, and that it's all about, you know, we got to make this woman be up for it again. Like, you know, she's kind of just there for one purpose. If the purpose is for her joy and for her pleasure, then I'm all on it. If the purpose is for somebody else's joy and somebody else's pleasure, then go screw yourself. Pun intended. Actually, pun wasn't intended, but it worked out pretty well, didn't it? Yeah. And then also, that's the only thing you're allowed, according to the NHS. You are not allowed the mood stabilizing effects of testosterone. You are not allowed the lust for life enhancement that testosterone does. Testosterone makes you see colours again, and it makes you feel joyful for just the smallest things again. Testosterone has a muscle mass retention quality. So for a lot of women whose perimenopause has made them put on weight, they find that being on testosterone and putting muscle mass back on means that they are losing the unwanted weight because they are stronger and they have more energy for exercising, and having muscle actually burns fat calories. In my case, obviously that's, I don't have that problem. My problem is that I really struggle to put on weight. And I really struggle to put on muscle. And then I'm losing testosterone, so I'm losing muscle mass, and then I get weaker, and I cannot afford to get weaker. So I am actually hoping, and I'm seeing some little signs of it, that testosterone will help me put weight back on. And, you know, we're not talking anabolic steroids here. We're not talking bodybuilding. I want to be strong enough to lift my daughter. That's what it is about. I want to be strong enough, both physically and mentally and emotionally, to enjoy my life as a single special needs mom. That's what I want. And yeah, the effect on the libido, it's lovely. I am not complaining, okay? But I was not complaining before testosterone either. That has never been an area where I've been lacking. So if I had gone to my NHS doctor and said, I want testosterone, and then allowed her to only talk about my libido, that would have been a full-on, no, you cannot have it. And I made this very clear. I was actually honest from the word go. I said straight out, I want testosterone, and it's not for the libido effect. And then I talked to her about all these other things. And she was not happy. She was not impressed that I had tried it privately. She initially said that I had to come off testosterone for a minimum of 3 months so she could take a baseline blood test. And I said no. I said, I'm not doing that. There is absolutely no reason for me to stop taking something that is clearly helping me. You can do a blood test now. And she said no. And then she said, but I will refer you to our NHS menopause clinic. And she managed to get me a phone appointment actually the same week. And so I spoke to the doctor from the menopause clinic, and she said ideally we would have taken a baseline blood test, but let's take a blood test now and see where you're at. And so I went and did that blood test, and I got the result back. And it was quite funny because I had an appointment with my endocrinologist, a few days after the blood test. So I'd also taken a thyroid blood test, and she'd been given the results for both. And she went, I don't know why you're getting testosterone tested, but I can tell you that you're low. And that was after nearly 4 months on testosterone. My testosterone levels were low. And I had to do a lot of digging and translate nanojoules per liter to nanograms per deciliter, whatever it was, and try and work out what is a normal physiological range of testosterone for women of my age. And my testosterone levels actually sit below that. It's not even at the lower end, it is below that. So I'm not particularly worried that I'm going to overdose on my testosterone. And I am just amazed. I'm absolutely blown by the fantastic effect that it has had on me and on my life. And this is best described by something that happened. I think it was a couple of months into me taking testosterone, and I was on my bicycle, I was cycling home from somewhere, and I realized that I could see the flowers. And that I obviously I've seen I look around, I see what's going on around me, but I saw the flowers. I saw the flowers, and I saw how beautiful they were, and I saw how colourful they were, and it made me feel so happy. And that has not happened in a few years. Okay? I have not seen the flowers for a few years. Maybe I'm making no sense, but that it makes sense to me. I saw the flowers for the first time in years, and that's thanks to testosterone. So what about the estrogen then? How am I getting on with my estrogen? What is estrogen doing for me? Well, estrogen did have an amazing mood stabilizing effect as well. So when I started taking estrogen, my anxiety levels went down, and my rage went down, and my brain fog improved massively. It didn't go all the way, and that's why I wanted testosterone as well. I became better. I became so much better, but I wasn't good yet. But yes, the testosterone has had a fantastic effect in that respect. It has, hello, did you want to come and say hi? No, jumping down again. Estrogen has also helped my night sweats. So my night sweats are an awful lot better. I don't have as much of that anymore. It does happen, particularly now it's summer and it's hot here in the UK, and we're having some very, very, very hot nights. I can feel a little, but it's nothing like it used to be. Now, estrogen is the great moisturizer. And before I started HRT, I had dry, itchy skin that I described as lizard skin, and even shedding lizard skin. Like I felt like I could scrape my nails into my legs and just gouge out thick skin. Not anymore. My skin feels amazing. My hair is thicker and healthier. I mean, yes, I've stopped bleaching it, I've stopped dyeing it altogether, and I'm treating my hair differently. So, there could be a lot of different reasons why my hair is better, but I think estrogen may very well have something to do with that. Stronger nails, just everything. My whole physical system feels so much balanced, really. PMS. So one of the first and most dramatic effects of going on estrogen was that my PMS disappeared, and that was wonderful. And then PMS has come back, and then it's like some months I have it, some months I don't. I don't have it to the level it used to be. I used to have a week of being super clumsy. I dropped everything. Like my fingers could not hold the damn thing a week before my period. And that would make me extremely angry and frustrated, and I was just irritable, and I was snappy, and I was having thoughts that don't belong to me. And it sounds very, very weird, and it's not even that serious, but basically 1 week before my period, every month, I needed to have more babies. And I was in tears, and I was super upset because I was never going to have more babies, and I had to have all the babies. And then for the other 3 weeks of my period cycle, I don't want any bloody babies. I'm done with babies. so glad that mine aren't babies anymore, and I'm done, thank you. So why for this week before my period was I just the broodiest person on the planet? It makes no sense. And there were other thoughts as well, you know, I would have really like imposter syndrome through the roof, and being absolutely convinced that nobody will ever love me and I will never achieve anything, and yeah, you know, to the point of everybody hates me, even people that I know for a fact don't hate me. So and the other 3 weeks of the month I was much more stable and kind of going, yeah, no, I know my value, and I know that other people value me. We're good here. But yeah, that week before my period I had all those thoughts, and I describe them as thoughts that don't belong to me, because they don't. They're not what I feel at other times. Now that particular PMS symptom, I can't speak, has not come back. Since I started HRT, I've not had that, and it's amazing. But I do get clumsy still, or rather the clumsiness, when I, on the months when I have PMS symptoms, I still get clumsy, and I still get a bit irritable, and I want all the chocolate. But compared to what it was, it is just so much better. And then progesterone. And I think this is funny because the only reason they prescribe this is to protect your uterus from endometrial cancer. So if you still have a uterus, you get prescribed this. If you don't have a uterus, you don't need it, kind of thing. But this helps you sleep. I sleep so well the 2 weeks I'm taking these. It is fantastic. They are just, they're little pillows of dreamland comfort. And yes, they also have a bit of an effect on your PMS and your mood levels. So, you know, there's this, it's not just to protect the uterus. They do more. They do so much more. So I said I was gonna talk about what dose I am on all of these things. Okay? So this is the pump gel. And currently I take 4 pumps a day. I've been playing around with the dosage, a little bit up, a little bit down. I went up to 4 before I started testosterone. Then when I started testosterone, I went down to 3 again. And now I'm back up to 4 just the last few days. And I think I'm going to stay on 4 because it's when I go below 4 that I start getting my PMS symptoms back. And so I think 4 pumps is just an optimal dose for me. It is a high dose, but I am also deemed fairly young in terms of perimenopause, and the younger you are, generally you need a higher dose. 4 pumps is roughly equivalent to 100 microgram patch, or roughly equivalent to 3 sprays, depending on if you're on patches or pump or sprays. Now that is what's going out of the bottle. That's not necessarily what's going in through my skin. What my absorption rate is it's an unknown. Exactly how much you absorb, you don't really know, and then what your body does with it, you know, unless you do a heck of a lot of blood tests and have a lot of pathology investigations into it, and you don't need that. If you're feeling better, it's working. If you're not feeling better, it's not working. I did absorb my estrogen better from the patches when I was on patches, because I needed to immediately, when I went over to gel, I needed to increase my dose in comparison. I just did not get on with the patches. I found them itchy, and I absolutely hated the glue fluff frame I got around them. So that's why I switched to gel. And even though I absorb less of this, I prefer the delivery system. 4 pumps is quite a lot. And particularly as I'm not a very big person, so I take 2 pumps in the morning, 2 pumps in the evening. That's just how I've chosen to do it. And then I spread it over my thighs or over my stomach or over my arms. The progesterone, I am taking the 100 milligram capsules, and I take 2 a day for the last 2 weeks of my cycle. So I start on day 14 and then I take it for 14 days. At some point I will go on to 1 tablet every day, but that is further on when I am closer to my period stopping altogether, or my periods having stopped. Now, I'm 47 and my periods have become extremely regular, which is nice, since I started HRT. HRT should not delay the cessation of your periods. That is down to follicle stimulation hormones and so many other factors in your body, so my periods should still stop. I'm expecting them to stop when I'm around 51, 52. So I've likely got another 5 years of periods ahead of me. I'm guessing based on when my mom's periods stopped, really. But you don't, until you're there, you don't really know. So for now, I'm taking it at the second half of my cycle, but further ahead in this journey, I'll be taking 1 tablet throughout. And then the testosterone. One of these sachets is a male dose. And there is currently, in the UK, there is no product that is licensed for women that you can get hold of on the NHS. There is an Australian one called Androfem that you can get privately. It's very expensive. So on the NHS, it is a male product. And one of these doses is a male dose. Now, I have no intention of transitioning into a man. I want to be the best woman I can be. Thank you very much. So I'm taking 1/8 of this sachet. So I should make a sachet last for 8 days. It works out at 9 days. I don't know. The dose that my brain has settled on is 9 days. Okay, it's just that amount I'm taking. I don't want to take too much. I could, obviously, with my testosterone levels being low, I probably could go up in dosage, but I don't see any reason why I should rush this. And the amount I'm taking at the moment is having an unbelievably positive effect on me, so we can chill out. That's fine. It's fine. We don't need to stress it. Yeah, and then finally, before I get off camera now, is I'm doing as much as I can, really, to support the peri community and the special needs peri community when it comes to perimenopause and menopause. So I have been a guest at the Louise Newson Menopause podcast, which I love doing. That was such a brilliant opportunity. I have appeared on an article in iNews talking about the mental health impact of perimenopause. So that was a big one for me, actually a really big one for me. And I have run 1 workshop for my local community of special needs mom on menopause and perimenopause. And that went down so well. We're going to do another one in the autumn, and then we're going to look at how we can do some form of continuing support going forwards. But it's all about resources and times and things. So, but yeah, it's been amazing. And I'm obviously going to keep coming on here and talking about it. I am well aware that my peri vlogs are not the most popular on my channel, but they are popular enough. Enough of you are watching them, and that means it's important to me. So if you are somebody who is watching the peri updates, and if you do appreciate them, then say hello in the comments, subscribe to my channel, obviously, and share my vlogs with people that you think it could be helpful for, and so that I reach somebody else, and somebody else feels a little bit less lonely and a little bit less scared or confused, and yeah, we're in this together. There's a lot of us who are going through this, and we should just all talk about it because it helps somebody who can't talk about it. All right, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you again very soon. Bye.